Hello, everyone. We've got Jessica Rolph, the CEO and co-founder of Lovevery, along with Rod Morris, the co-founder and president of Lovevery. We're talking about their new product line of developmentally optimized toys for kids, babies, in fact. Stick around.
Welcome to the Your Mark on the World show with your champion of social good, Devin D. Thorpe.
Jessica, Rod, welcome to the show.
Thanks.
Thank you.
We're thrilled to have you, and thank you very much for taking the time. Jessica, why don't you take a minute and just give us a quick overview of Lovevery?
Yes. So Lovevery we really wanted to create an experience for parents that helped them feel confident about their child's development and what they needed to do to make the most of this first stage of life. We think so much and so deeply about nutrition. So I spent the last decade of my life helping to build Happy Family, which is the #1 organic baby food company. And I had this experience as a parent where I'd gone so deep in nutrition and really wondered, what are we doing about a child's developing brain? Between 0 and 3, 80% of the brain mass is developed, and there's so much of an opportunity for us to make a difference. So Lovevery is here to partner with parents and help them feel confident that they know what they're doing.
Jessica, what happened to Happy Family?
So we sold the business to Groupe Danone, which has been an amazing partner. Shazi, my co-founder, and I stayed on for many years after, really continuing to kind of fulfill the mission that we have to try and make organic baby food the thing that everyone turns to for their child's first nutrition. And we've been really fortunate. Groupe Danone has been a great company, so we're really grateful to have it in capable hands.
Well, I wanted to highlight that because I think it certainly portends well for Lovevery that you have been through the successful venture cycle all the way through raising money and a successful exit with the sale to Groupe Danone. So I want the venture capitalists in the audience to be paying close attention to our discussion today. So, Rod, tell me a little bit about what attracted you to this project.
So I grew up in startups. The ones that had the most meaning to me were mission-driven. The last one had been a company that helped people save energy around the world called Superpower. I ran half that business. But I had known Jessica for a long, long time through my wife. They're best friends growing up.
We were on the basketball team together.
And I would talk to Jessica about business ideas all the time. But when I heard this idea as a parent and as an entrepreneur, it just sounded like a fantastic thing to be part of. And so I just said, Jess, what do you think? Could I work on this with you? Because I couldn't think of something I'd rather do than that.
Well, that's great. Now, tell us a little bit about the products themselves. Jessica, do you have some there that you can show us to help us understand what you've got?
You're speaking my language. I can't wait to show you some of the products because we are product people. And so some of the magic that happens with our experience, I had an experience as a parent where I discovered a doctoral thesis written on infant brain development. So when my child was born, I had really kind of gone so deep into understanding what was happening in their development stage by stage. And so we've developed information and products that relate to what a baby is hungry to learn. So this is our babies love, if you have a baby out there, you know that babies love tissue boxes and they love to destroy a tissue box. So they'll eat all of the tissues. You'll be fishing them out of their mouth. It'll be, a whole, wipes containers, tissue boxes. There's a big mess. So we've created this, what we call the magic tissue box. So all these tissues come out. It's made with organic cotton. It's just super fun. Babies love to stuff these back in. And then it becomes this sort of like magic box where it's stretchy material. So it's really fun. And then you've got a magnet at the bottom so the parent can reload if they want. So this is our magic tissue box. It's one of our favorites.
So are the Kleenexes in your magic tissue box, are they washable? So you can...
Yeah, washable, organic cotton. We really, right. I think if you think about kind of where parents are with what we have, there's been a lot of sort of plastic toys, a lot of flashing lights, a lot of kind of like ultra stimulation, almost distraction. And I think that there's a place for that in our lives, but there's also a hunger and an intuition that we're really hoping to connect more with our children. And that connection also fosters healthy brain growth. And so that's what we're about, is we're about the sort of analog, the slower moments, the fun. And so we're also about organic and sustainably harvested wood, because it's essential when you think about what, the planet that our children are inheriting.
So what on earth does a baby learn from pulling the Kleenex out of the box?
Good question. So babies at this age, which we have, this is part of the sensor play kit. So
what age is the Kleenex toy?
6 months.
5 or 6 months.
And right in the beginning in this age band, actually continuing from the next 12 to even 18 months, babies are fascinated with containment. So they want to understand and deeply understand what goes in what and what will contain what. And so we have kind of a progressive expression of that. And I think that we start with this tissue box. It evolves to a tube. We have a tube so that babies can understand that a ball will fall out of the tube, but yet the ball will stay in the pan, or the ball will stay in the container. So, the classic, like all the babies need is a pot and a pan, a shoe, something like that to contain in. We also believe that babies need to understand that some things fall out. So the tissue box is the beginning of that containment journey.
And I think,
Rod? Go ahead, Rod.
What I would add is just some helpful context we have these play kits. They come every other month. They cover a developmental time period. And so when Jessica was talking about the Kleenex box, that comes in our play kit, which we call the sensor, for months 5 and 6. And there's this collection of really thoughtful products that are all based around learning in this organic way.
Yeah. And I just think it's really hard to, we're with the kind of onslaught of technology. We've talked to a ton of child development specialists. Communication skills are going down. Children are coming into intake sessions and given a crayon and a piece of paper and are literally swiping the paper because they don't know what to do with a crayon. For real. We've heard this from multiple professionals.
Yeah.
And so I think that, we're kind of at a loss because things are happening so fast, and the toys that we have right now are, so much, like, many of them don't fit with our aesthetics as parents, but they also just don't necessarily feel right. You don't really necessarily want a distraction moment. I had this time when I wanted to connect with my child, got down on the floor with him and watched him push one button, and all of a sudden it's like a purple cow was popping out and lights were flashing and music was playing, and it was like this thing was almost between us. And I think that we have a situation now where people are craving some slower moments, craving more connection. And we want to be there for parents and help them understand their baby, because once you understand what your baby's hungry to learn, a whole new world opens up.
Well, I can see how that would be the case. Rod, as you look at these products and the impact on the kids, what do you hope changes in the child's life in the short and long term as a result of engaging with your toys?
So 2 things I would say. One is that the child learns more about how the real world works around them. And 2, because they are just naturally going to enjoy doing that, the parent gets to see them understanding the world through their own eyes. And so the parent gets a little bit more of a connection to their child, even as the child is getting more connected to the world around them.
And do you hope that has a long-term effect? And if so, what do you hope comes of that, Ron?
Well, there's a lot of science that went into every single product that we designed. And, we try to make the science as approachable as possible, but the fact is that there are all kinds of benefits around children being able to learn faster, learn more, being able to do more with their bodies faster. There's a tremendous host of benefits to these products, and we actually lay them all out in the materials that we provide with them.
And it's like, I think if you kind of think about neuroscience, right? And there's been a debate over the centuries, but about half of who we become is genetics. And then half of who we become is really up to our environment. And so having a meaningful, stimulating environment, especially in those early years and even the early months of life, the environment is really created by the parent or the caregiver. So babies can't access stimulation. They're really hungry to have you present it to them. And so in the beginning, that means looking at complex black and white images. When they're a little bit older, that means giving them things like safe things to mouth, because they learn through their mouths more than their fingers. And later stages. And so I think it's really kind of trying to help understand where is this kind of like pivot for development, and how can we, in my mind, there's a lot of conversation around these early years as being so important. We want to really partner with parents, and there's something magical that we're seeing with a physical product matched with information, creating more engagement. So there are apps that you can download. There's information you can read. There's campaigns around getting your kid to read. Reading to your child helps promote reading later. What we found in our testing, and we tested this with 25 families across the country, everything from family on public assistance to a family making over $1 million a year living in the Oakland Hills. We found something really common is that every parent was looking to give their baby the very best. And we also found that engagement was really high, and they felt confident that they knew what to do with their baby more than just, kind of reading information. There was something actionable for them to do. Like they could read this book, they could play with this toy, and they knew what it was doing for their child's development.
Interesting. Now, Jessica, you had a remarkable success with Healthy Baby. Or Healthy Family. I think you called it Healthy Baby once upon a time. Healthy Family.
Yeah.
Okay. But what are the key lessons you learned there that you find yourself consciously applying at Lovevery?
It's a good question. I think that oftentimes the entrepreneurs can lose track of the laser focus they need to have on quality and on product. So we have poured our hearts and souls into, it's not interesting to write about. People don't really want to talk about quality and operations. They don't really want to talk about supply chain, but we take our products so personally. We see the people that make this. We're on the line with them. We're inspecting 100% ourselves. There was at one point I said, "Where are the hair nets?" They gave me a shower cap to wear while I was inspecting product, late in the night. I mean, I think that there's just a grittiness that you have to really go in deep on product so that you can know that your customer can trust you. And I think a lot of times companies falter by not having the testing standards, going deep on quality. I think the second thing that I've learned is dream big, and it can come, and really have a vision for what you want to do in the world. We have a really deep vision for Lovevery. We want to bring purpose and meaning to parents. We want to impact the supply chains in which we work. We're going to get there with scale. And I think that what Happy Family showed me is that you set your intention, and it's possible. We went through every hardship imaginable, and we did it. We accomplished the impossible, and we're going to do it 4 times over again. And the third thing is just that life purpose. And there's just so much meaning that can come from doing what you believe is kind of inside you and what you care about giving to the world, and that dialogue that you can have with your customers, with your investors, with people in the world, that is what's meaningful in life. And I think that that's what continues to drive us.
Rod, what is the accomplishment or achievement that you've experienced in your career that you are most proud of?
I think I'd have to say starting Lovevery. After I helped take our last company public that I was part of, I had a lot of opportunities to take very lucrative roles and decided instead to move my family from the East Coast to Boise, Idaho, and really invest in this idea that originally Jess had and which we built up together. And now I could see all these different products that we've created, all coming off the factory line and then getting sold to families who love them and use them. I couldn't think of anything I'd be prouder of professionally. I mean, obviously, deep pride in family and everything else outside of the work world, but professionally, I'd say this. And
Jessica, what about you? You've had this extraordinary career and experience as well. What's the most important lesson that you've learned?
I think that I've often questioned, in watching your programming, I am so blown away by the people that you've interviewed. I mean, you've found these incredible entrepreneurs, social entrepreneurs with deep mission to make a difference in the world. And if you think about after having the success at Happy Family, financially, it was really a great outcome for personally and professionally. It was a great outcome. Why not go to the deepest need and go fight climate change on the ground, go to people, hunger, where hunger is deepest, where the need is the strongest in this world. And I think what I've reconciled in myself after really kind of doing is that this is sort of my path, and I can't help but do this company. This company is coming from, and I believe that we have a deep mission here too. And I think that the thing that I've learned is to be confident in that, and that this is my path, and that there's so many people doing so many amazing things in this world. And, we're here to contribute in our way, but that's in a way that is in integrity with who we are.
Rod, you talked a little bit about this already. You talked about your motivation for doing this, but I wonder if you would take us a little bit of time here and just expand on this idea of why it was so important for you to adopt this mission. It's an intriguing mission, and yet I think you have an extraordinary passion for it. Why? So
I think that if you're going to be an entrepreneur, or if you're going to be successful in something, you really have to give it everything that you've got. You have to, kind of put every talent you have, and even talents you don't have, into it. You have to work very hard. You have to sacrifice a lot. And the payoff is just so much greater when there's something that you care about that's being impacted by it. And I don't just mean, you care about it because you like it, or it's kind of interesting to you, but you really believe in the impact that you're having. And for me, I think on the personal side, I have a difficult time thinking of anything that I care, more about than being an effective parent to my children, and really raising them to be successful and happy in the world around them. And so, but I also happen to be somebody who's passionate about and good at business, and always wanted to go through the creative experience of starting a company. And so this was a unique opportunity to align all of those things. And then finally, because I'd known Jessica for so long, as my wife's closest friend, it was a unique opportunity to do it with somebody who I just trusted and respected deeply.
Well, that makes perfect sense. Jessica, what is your superpower?
I love it because Tara often talks about that, our mutual friend. I think believing in something. So there were so many years. It was really kind of 6 years in incubation with my first, where I was trying out all these products. I was teaching him lessons in heavy and light, and trying to come up with examples that were identical. Maybe you can show us the heavy and light bulbs in the last one, or making my own fabric tissue boxes and making my own books, and thinking about, it's like I had these dreams and was incubating it and taking it, being willing to take it to that next step and make it real, and just persisting throughout the emotional ups and downs. There will be if we're speaking to entrepreneurs, and I know that there are a lot of your followers are entrepreneurs, there are so many ups and downs, and you almost have to I'm really good at disengaging my emotion and saying, what is the very next step that I need to do to make this real, whether I feel excited about it or whether I'm completely worried about it and devastated about it, and just completely, because before something is out in the world, it's really vulnerable. These are heavy and light balls. They're so fun. This one's super heavy. This one's super light, but they're identical. They look identical. One of them floats in the bath. One of them sinks. So it's all these lessons that I tried with my children that are now real, that I couldn't have this because I couldn't manufacture it. And so it was so fun. It's so fun to be able to give that to other children. I think being able to make something real is the superpower.
Excellent. Rod, what about you? Do you have a superpower?
I am pretty good at building teams. I'm pretty good at hiring people who are really, really excellent and really different from myself, and putting them together to do something together. I'd say if I've got a superpower in business, that might be it.
He's really good at getting things done too. He just gets so much done.
It is good to have someone who gets stuff done around the office. Well, Jessica, Rod, I really appreciate you taking the time to be with me today. And before you go, I wonder, Jessica, maybe you just take 1 minute and tell people how they can learn more about Lovevery and how they can connect with you and Rod personally.
Yeah, so it's loveverybaby.com. So it's LOVEVERY, BABY. So it's just one E. And you can connect with us. We're at the website. I'm Jessica at Loveverybaby.
Yeah, Roderick at loveverybaby.com. And we're both on Instagram as well.
Yeah, we'd love to hear.
Fantastic. Well, listen, Jessica, Rod, thank you so much for joining us today. We wish you every success in rolling out your new business to make babies better.
Thank you, Devin.
Devin.
All righty, let's do some good.
Thank you for listening. Devin Thorpe's mission is to end extreme poverty, improve global health, and mitigate climate change before 2045 by finding and sharing the stories of those who are doing the most good. You can join with other listeners to accelerate Devin's mission by visiting helpdevin.org right now.